We're standing at a moment that mirrors 1999, but the stakes are infinitely higher. And this is not about whether AI music is good or bad. That ship has sailed. That debate is already over. This is about what happens next. Right now, 18% of everything that is uploaded to streaming platforms is fully AI generated. We're not talking about partially, fully AI generated. The listeners are not pretending to hate it. They simply cannot tell the difference anymore. We have crossed the threshold where perception and reality have separated. The fact is, you're probably already listening to artificial intelligence music, either completely created or partially. 18%. Not streams, uploads. The intent is there. The volume is there. And it's not decreasing. It is not leveling off. No matter what the skeptics say, no matter what the fans of AI music say, the facts are the facts. And the adoption curve, it goes in one direction. Resistance, real concerns, I know. But 55% of electronic producers and 53% of rap artists are already using AI. The camp is cracking from the inside. There's denial. Listeners who say they don't like it, but they can't tell the difference. The realists say, well, if it sounds good, I don't care. This camp decides the future. Always. They always have. And we have been here before for those of us who are old enough to remember the coming of Auto-Tune. Auto-Tune was cheating. DAWs were for lazy people who didn't want to explore the board, who were too cheap to afford a Neve console, people who didn't even understand what a reel-to-reel looks like, let alone how to cut it after a recording gone wrong. MP3s were killing the music experience, and now they're industry standard. Every single one of those. So AI is not disruption. It is the latest acceleration of a pattern that has existed. A pattern that has existed since the first electric guitar was plugged into the first amp, and someone said, that's not real music. It's existed from the time Miles was looked at as a rebel. Miles Davis went against the grain and began incorporating electric and electronic elements into his music. But he was looked at as the villain until it became widespread and mainstream. There is always a resistance. Every technology on this list was called fake. Every single one. Auto-Tune, DAWs, and streaming. Auto-Tune, not real music, now the industry standard. DAWs, not real music, now the industry standard. Streaming, problematic, choose MP3s, now the industry standard. AI music, the answer is obvious. Every technology on this list was called fake. Every single one is now a standard. AI music is not a question mark. The question mark is only about the outcome. What does the outcome look like? When we reflect, we see that there's an underground. The underground is already running. Whether you like it or not, there are people in other geographies and this geography, wherever you are, already cultivating an underground. It doesn't have a distributor. It doesn't have a copyright attorney. It doesn't need one. AI voice clones of major artists on Telegram. synthetic unreleased tracks on Discord, offshore servers where a legal notice goes nowhere. The music is there. You just don't see it on the platforms. Who needs Spotify? We're not going to enrich them anymore. We're going to build our own underground empire, they say. And this is the mindset of a lot of people looking for supply because there is a demand. And that's why the big three know this, and they're trying to rapidly pivot before things get completely out of hand. You see, Napster didn't die. It just multiplied. There are so many alternatives. When the RIAA sued Napster into oblivion, illegal file sharing went up, not down. Napster became Kazaa, LimeWire, Nutella, BitTorrent. Every one more decentralized, more powerful, more impossible to litigate. This is not history. This is the blueprint for what happens. What happens next in AI music if the industry keeps playing the same playbook? You see, every time you block a channel without providing an alternative, you don't eliminate the behavior, you decentralize it. You push it somewhere else where you cannot monitor, you cannot regulate, where you cannot see. And out of sight is out of mind. And that's comfortable for those who want to push the narrative that they are in control. But they're really not in control. You see, there's an underground railroad of AI music. It is being built right now. And every lawsuit without an alternative lays another track. You're against Suno? Well, let's see what you do when other alternatives that go rogue or are rogue from the beginning are in existence, are thriving underground. Suno is not the final boss. The music industry is so focused on Suno. Suno has a mailing address. Suno has a CEO, Mikey Schulman, who does podcast interviews. Suno can be served papers. And that's exactly why Suno is not the final boss. The final boss has no address, has no zip code. The final boss is a waits file on a server that moves jurisdictions the way water finds downhill. Open source. Runs on a consumer GPU built in a country where your legal system has zero jurisdiction. So keep chasing Suno and demonizing Suno. GPT-2 was too dangerous to release in 2019. That same capability was running on laptops in under 3 years. Music is not harder to generate than language. Let's wake up and smell the coffee. What is your strategy for something with no CEO, no investor relations, and no reason to respond to you? You can't even contact them. They are underground. They are out of reach. They are nameless. You can't sue a waits file. This is the wall the current strategy runs into. You can sue companies. You can malign Suno. You can coerce Udio. And you can chase those companies with an address. But the capability will outlive the company. The technology doesn't care about the verdict. See, this is the playbook that is failing currently. Suing companies, walled gardens. I find it rather amusing listening to the likes of UMG and others talk about their little walled garden approach. But what they fail to realize is this will only take you so far with companies that are trying to play by the legal book. Suing companies works on the company that you are suing. But even if you sue Suno, The capability to do what Suno does will continue in a decentralized location. Walled gardens contained Udio, but contain nothing else. Detection tools, synth ID marks, Google only. Nobody cares. They just avoid using Google Lyria. But what about the rest? What about those that are planted underground? Nobody catches the rest. Voluntary disclosure. The people most motivated to hide are the only ones deciding whether to disclose. Political lobbying. The UK took 2 years to form a task force. All real efforts, all buying time. Time favors the side with more engineers. Walled gardens, detection tools, voluntary disclosure, political lobbying, they can only go so far. Build a better door. One thing has never worked against the underground: lawsuits. Never works. The underground is too firmly buried within. I knew someone who lost tons of Bitcoin to the underground. Tons and tons, hundreds of thousands. The underground is not scared of your little lawsuits. They're not scared of your legislation. They're not scared of filters. A legal product that is better than the illegal alternative? Are you kidding? Napster died, Spotify was born. The pirates came back, not because they got arrested, but because the legal option became more attractive. And that is the only playbook that wins. And I'm not going to tell you what that is. You got to build a better door. See. Which door are we building is the question. Not AI instead of human artists. AI on behalf of human artists. The more we continue to demonize AI music, the more the pirates will thrive and survive underground. Spotify announced this week on their Q1 earnings call, which I featured on the channel, a licensed derivatives marketplace. Fans generate AI remixes of existing artists, catalogs. The artist collects a royalty every time. It's not AI instead of human artists. It's AI on behalf of human artists. And while I understand Spotify is trying their best, other elements and sectors of the industry are shooting Spotify's efforts in the foot. 293 million paying subscribers, 94 million already using AI DJ. The audience for this exists. It's paying, it's growing. And this is what the better door looks like. Path 1. Licensed AI royalties flow artist benefit. Legal door exists. You can choose Path 2. Path 2 is endless lawsuits and the underground grows. It thrives. Control is gone and the dark market wins. Choose your own adventure. Which one will the world choose? When every teenager can clone a Grammy vocal in seconds, what's valuable? This is the question nobody in this debate fully confronts. What does being a professional musician mean when the technical barrier is gone? The answer is not nothing. It's not the same as now. It's something more specific. What does a real artist possess? Authenticity, identity, intent, and presence. The power of intent, the power of intentionality behind every word, every lyric. The power of identity, the power of being authentic. The provable human story. Identity, the artist as a person, not just a sound. Intent, why you made it. What cost did you have to pay? Why are you still going? Presence, the physical moment that cannot be faked. Presence is huge, and that's one thing AI cannot simulate: your presence in front of an audience. These become more valuable as AI content becomes infinite, not less. Scarcity drives value, and nothing is scarcer in a world of infinite AI music than the irreducibly human moment. That counts. That packs a punch. You cannot stop AI music. You can only decide in the light or in the dark. The underground is already running and thriving. The open source tools are already being trained. You can use these open source tools right there on your local computer. The teenagers in countries with no copyright framework, they're already building empires underground. You can only decide whether it grows in the light, with attribution, with royalties, with artist consent, with a legal door people actually want to walk through, or dominates in the dark, without names, without payment, without any mechanism for a human artist to participate in the value of their life's work that they helped create. Hopefully, this will not be the eulogy for sensible responses to the current catastrophe. Only you can decide, in the light or in the dark.